Welcome everybody. You might recognise the tune, but everything else looks different. It's Huey and Campbell Brown here as we step things up a little bit. No longer Friday knockoff, now tools down.
Yep, what better way to have two hosts that are absolute tools. It's quite appropriate.
We didn't set that one at all. Hey, it's great to have you joining us on Facebook. As we said, a new show. We're levelling things up thanks to our sponsors at Good Work, connecting more than 30,000 tradies as we all try to bounce back from what is a very interesting time, particularly here in Victoria, COVID-19 in lockdown again. Brownie, we didn't even know as recently as yesterday if we'd be able to use fantastic studios that we're in. How have you found it?
Oh yeah, it's pretty frustrating, isn't it? I'm sure I speak for everyone that we prefer to be through this, but we're going to continue to have these challenges, I think, for a little while. There'll be periods where we go into lockdown, come back out, and it's just an ever-evolving situation. But you've got to deal with it as best you can, and that's why it's great to be back here and trying to help everyone out. Yeah,
and thankfully the majority of our audience are considered an essential service, so it's great to have you guys out on the front line and really doing your best to keep the hot water, cold water, sanitation, building and construction sector going really well. And we want to help you, and we've got a big show today, Finance with Jimmy. Again, the amount of feedback that one man can receive in terms of elevating a program like ours is just remarkable, and he's going to have plenty of finance tips for us a little bit later on. A new addition to the show. We took the feedback from north of the border here in Victoria to let us know, talking plenty of AFL.
Yeah, we're leaving out the NRL, weren't we?
Yeah, and I know you love it.
The little brother of Australian sport.
I know very little about the NRL, so I'm going to leave to you to chat with Jimmy Smith from NRL Nation. He's going to have a chat to us. Of course, challenge time. You smashed Jimmy in season 1. We're going to start afresh in season 2.
Was it 4-0? Was it 5-0?
4-1.
One draw?
4-1.
Oh, you got one.
Yeah, he got you with the art challenge.
That's right.
On site with Sam, we're going to head out on the tools and see how they're coping on site through COVID-19. And you talked before about going back out and coming back in. Not to make light of the COVID infection graph, but we're seeing something very similar to when we first went into lockdown. So I thought we might have a little bit of a crack at some lookalikes.
Okay.
And happy for people to leave some suggestions as part of the Facebook page.
You've done this, have you? You've come up with this?
I might have been involved with Olivia. We might have got together and arranged something, but I'm keen to get your thoughts.
Right.
We're going to have a look at the first lookalike and see what you think.
Now, can I say that is probably one of the worst photos of me ever, because that is the day before my English Channel swim. I'm 98 kilos. I had to get big. I had to.
It's a far cry from the photo. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, we also...
no. He's the last person I want to be compared with. He's a lot more skinny, though.
I was going to say that. He's looking fitter than you are.
And we've both got one thing in common. We both got sacked in our prime from me, my footy career, and him, his political career.
I don't know how you drew that correlation, but it's a good one. Either way, we just want to get a shot of you in your Speedos as often as possible. Horrendous. And then let's have a look at this one.
Oh, yeah, that's not too bad.
Hey?
Yep, I can see the resemblance there, and both done some of your best work in the back of a car.
Oh, yeah, big thanks to my mum too. She sends that one through. She tells me every day how much I look like you.
Did you get my gag, or did you just go straight over it? You did too.
Yeah. I don't quite know where to go after that. Needless to say, lookalike contest won't be coming back. The other great thing we've got to mention is our sponsors. So again, leave us a comment if you want to make your suggestions about lookalikes. I'm sure you can come up with a few worse ones for me. Or if you just want to have a comment and give us some feedback on the show, Tom and Luke have been great sponsors. They've got some snacks for Smoko. We've got some Good Work beanies. And of course, Elwood. They've been giving away some socks. If you want to hold those up, we've got to keep social distancing. Brownie, doing your best. Price is right. Fridge stroking roll there. Elwood have been a great supporter. Next week, we're giving away the big hamper. So your chance to get in the draw, win yourself a pair of socks, and then hopefully win that hamper, which we'll be announcing next week. We have a big show.
Massive.
You've got to get on with it. Behind the desk, NRL footy is next. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to Tools Down. I keep wanting to say Friday knockoff. I've got to stop it because we are in a very, very professional environment now. We've got the earpods in. We're ready to go. We're levelling up to help tradies bounce back from COVID-19. Please leave your comments in the Facebook section. And right now, as a result of the feedback, we've levelled things up. And we've decided to not just chat AFL as part of our sports segment, we're going to chat NRL. And Jimmy Smith from NRL Nation joins us. Jimmy, how are you? Looking very relaxed.
G'day, Huey. G'day, Campbell. How are you? Can I level down a little bit for us? Because I'll tell you where I am. I'm out the back of my house and I've got a bit of a bad back, just struggling a little bit. So I've converted the barbecue and put the computer on that, or as I like to refer to it now, the Barbie desk.
That's magnificent.
Is coming to a Bunnings near you sometime shortly.
You just got to improvise on everything, don't you, these days?
Mate, the only thing is, Campbell, just the waft of sausages that comes over you every now and then. It's not too good, but otherwise, no problem.
Outstanding start, Jimmy. We're going to get to NRL in a little bit, but of course, this is a show built for tradies. I understand you've got a bit of a jack of all trades about you with a bit of farm experience with the old man and the broader family.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm in the Riverina, and my old man was a cow cocky, so we had a heap of cattle on the farm. We had a few sheep. We did a bit of cropping as well. So you talk about the trades, like my old man was part sheep shearer, part veterinarian, part mechanic, part welder, part builder. And I think I just went through and knocked everything down. So gave me plenty of work to do.
Jimmy, I live on a farm as well, and my problem is
Huge
I can't
farm.
do anything. So I need to bring someone in to do all that. So I've never heard cow cocky, though, have you?
No.
I love that.
Got a bit scared at the start when he mentioned that, but good that he cleared it up for us, and we're all on track. Now, let's turn our attention to the NRL, mate, and we will, of course, get to the AFL in a little bit. But Cowboys v Roosters last night, I'm going to hand over to you, Brownie. I didn't get a chance to see it, but, boy, there's some big news.
Yeah, well, Jimmy, it was a good game up until half-time. It almost looked like an upset could be on the horizon, and the Chooks put it away pretty quickly after that. But I want to talk to you about Matt Ikuvalu, because he was a guy that was in the stands about an hour before the game. Brett Morris does his groin. He gets a late call-up, and he comes out and scores 5 tries, and he's the first Rooster in 65 years to do that. What a performance. Tell us about this young man.
It's phenomenal, isn't it? It's one of these guys, he's a Central Coast junior. He's just had the dream to play in the NRL, and he's played a few games. Like, I think he played a handful of games, and he'd scored 4 tries in his career.
Yeah.
Right. So he goes up there. He's named in the extended squad, but it's very rare that, players drop out at that point. So really, you're on the plane just for a trip and hang out with the boys, do a bit of a warm-up and then watch them play. Sit in the stand, have a pie, have a Coke, watch them play. Well, Brett Morris, the superstar, who would have been on that right wing, he's gone down in the warm-up with a groin injury. So they said, right, Matt, you're in. So this young bloke comes out. He gets 5 tries, which is one more than his career tally. Yep. But the thing, a couple of them were straightforward. A couple of them were the most acrobatic tries you'll ever see. And on the other wing, so he's the right winger. On the other wing for the Roosters is an absolute legend of English rugby league who scored 221 tries for Leeds. Every time he played a test match, which is about 30 of them, he scored a try, even against Australia. A superstar in Ryan Hall. He's been at the Roosters now for 2 years. He can't get a try. Hasn't scored one. Matty Ikuvalu, the replacement, comes in and scores 5.
And he'll probably get dropped next week if Morris is coming back, won't he?
If Morris is fit, he's out.
Yeah, he's out. The big game, especially for us Victorians, is Melbourne Storm and the Raiders. Massive game. The Raiders have actually had the wood over the Storm the last couple of times they've played them. They beat them in round 3. How do you see that game unfolding?
Yeah, it's a really, really good game, Campbell. They're great rivals now. The coaches are good mates, Ricky Stewart and Craig Bellamy. But this is always an intense game. And for whatever reason, Canberra do well, even in Melbourne against the Melbourne Storm. This one up at Canberra, of course. But the thing about it, and the Roosters, you mentioned it last night, mate, they were just struggling a little bit coming into that game. They didn't have any rhythm, and then bang, straight after halftime, away they go. So that's off the back of that incredible game we saw last Thursday against the Storm. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Storm come up mentally as much as anything after that huge game. They've had a couple of extra days to recover, which I think might be pretty important for them. It's a travel for them from the Sunshine Coast down to Canberra. Canberra have lost a couple of middle forwards that are really important for them, and the replacements coming in are reasonably new, and so it's a new experience for them. We've got a young guy, O'Donnell, who's making his debut. So I think the Storm win it, but this is a really, really tight one.
Yeah, and mate, how's COVID-19 going for some of the NRL players? We'll get to the AFL in a little bit, but how are they finding it in terms of some of the clubs being in lockdown, some not?
Yeah, I think, Huey, it's really important how you present it to them. Like, it was interesting. Craig Bellamy, it's a bit of a bonus. So they got out of Melbourne couple of weeks ago. A lot of people will say that's a bonus in itself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. All right.
It definitely is.
But you know where they ended up, Brownie? They're up on the Sunshine Coast. They're staying at a 5-star resort. And Craig Bellamy said, it's not ideal, but really, guys, there's worse places on the planet we could be. So it's really, really interesting how you frame it. I've got a feel for the Warriors, okay? So it's a bit different for them. Some of them have come over here and have been able to bring their families. But because most of them have New Zealand citizens as their family, then they can't bring them over yet. So I understand how difficult it's been. And actually, to their great credit, the Warriors, they've been more than competitive. You know, they've beaten the Broncos last week, which is just a rock bottom for the Broncos. But they're hanging in there. And
Jimmy, NRL, one last question. Who's your hot tip this weekend? Who's a smoky that might get up for those of us who might be having a punt at home?
Okay, all right. I think the Dragons. I think Manly have lost. Well, Tommy T's their absolute superstar, and he's involved in one of every 2.5 tries Manly score. Like, that's just phenomenal. So he's out, which is a big loss. But they also lost Aden Fanua-Blake to suspension for that rant to the referee. So he's their best forward and their go-forward man. So a Dragons side who playing at home, playing with a bit more confidence, against a Manly side that's a little bit down and out. You'll get some value there too, Huey. So I reckon the Dragons beat the Seagulls.
A nice one. And we know the NRL blokes are always getting stuck into AFL for being a bit soft. So I want to get your view on this, Jimmy, before I go to Brownie. Jack Riewoldt earlier in the week on Fox Sports, he had a bit of a chat about how he was feeling in lockdown. What do you think about this?
I won't lie yet. I'll probably have second guess a little bit coming up here. The leaving yesterday was really tough, just obviously with Poppy only being very young and Carly as well, just leaving her at home and knowing what she has to go through by herself, basically being a single parent. There's certainly a weight on my shoulders about that. But I mean, it's the decision that we came to together. But like everything in this current climate, it shifts hourly, and unfortunately we find ourselves in a position where, for the next 6 weeks in Victoria, we're going back to the lockdown, and unfortunately there isn't much I can do up here at the moment. Bar sort of just try and organise as much as I can from afar. So currently staying in the hub, and trying to enjoy it whilst supporting Carly and every other player that's got a partner at home that needs the support right now.
Headspace just doesn't seem to be right for Jack.
It's a big call, isn't it? When you sign up to play AFL footy, you might fly into state for a night or two and you come back to your family, and they're up there indefinitely. I don't think they know how long they're going to be away for, and not having an end point when they can say they're coming back to see their kids. It's going to be tougher on some than others. There's the young guys without families that don't care, they just want to play footy. And there's some older guys like Trent Cotchin and Jack Riewoldt that it's obviously hitting them a little bit harder. But I don't think it's warranted to draw any form of criticism from that. We want our players to be honest up front, and he was
That's what he was.
And everyone's in their own sort of different headspace.
We'll leave the final comment to you, Jimmy, before we say goodbye.
Anyone who sings Mr. Brightside with the Killers after winning the grand final, they can do whatever they like.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, seriously.
One of the great songs and one of the most iconic moments of all time.
It was a ripper.
I think he sang it better than the lead singer too.
Yeah, that's right.
He was very good. Yeah. Very good.
Jimmy, NRL Nation doing a great job. We will definitely be catching up with you again next week. Right after this, we go out on site. It's Tools with Sam and Robert. He's a plumber. We're going to chat to him in a little bit. See you soon. G'day guys again, welcome back. Tools down thanks to good work as we connect everybody bouncing back from COVID-19 and helping you get back on the tools. Jimmy was great with the NRL, but we didn't chat too much about the AFL. So in terms of the feedback, make sure we even things up. The Cats last night against the Lions, you were a big fan of Brisbane.
Yeah, I was, and weren't the Cats huge? Brisbane were in the box seat at half-time. There were 2 injuries. Cats came out, kicked 7 goals, massive win. They just continue to improve and get better.
And then coming up over the weekend, I know you and I are going to be closely watching Hawthorn Pies. Are we how's Clarko going after giving feedback to the umpires? And then we were pretty ordinary last week. Interesting
game. Both sides bad losses last week. They'll be looking to bounce back. There's some inner turmoil at the Pies. They always seem to respond after that. So should be a fascinating game.
Give us your best tip for the weekend. Who's your hot favourite? I know you don't mind a punt.
I think Port Adelaide will bounce back. They're a pretty good side. Charlie Dixon was poor last week on Harris Andrews, kept him quiet. He'll bounce back, I think.
All right, beauty. Well, now, again, the feedback keeps coming for Sam. She's always on the tools, on site with Sam, and it looks a bit chilly. And Sam, how are you? Great to have you back. You might notice that we've stepped things up a little bit out here. And
the throw. You forgot
supposed to do a throw.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right, mate.
I had one job. Hey, Sam, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, guys. How are you?
Good. What are you measuring out there, Sam?
My social distancing.
Ah, beautiful. Of course.
1.5. So we're the right distance apart. I'm here with Robert Brugmans from Brugmans Plumbing.
And he's a member of Good Work. Good to have you joining us, Rob. And we can see you got a few odds and ends sitting in the back of the ute there. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. And yes, it's definitely a working ute.
No doubt about that. Well, Sam, we might leave it to you to have a bit of a chat to Rob about what he's getting up to through COVID-19.
Perfect, thank you. So, Robert, how long have you been a member of Good Work for?
Good Work was almost as soon as it started.
Yep.
I was even actually at the launch party as well.
Yep.
And I've gotten a fair crack at work out of it.
Amazing.
It's really brilliant.
That's really exciting.
It helped me out quite well, actually.
Yeah.
Quite well.
And in terms of COVID-19, we're back in lockdown. Back in lockdown. What did you learn the first time round that you're going to apply this time?
Well, it's exactly the same. You know, you keep your distance, you wash your hands, you wear gloves, and just be careful.
Yeah.
So, pretty much the same.
The same.
Staying busy. But you caution people before you enter their house of what you can touch, what you need to touch, and make sure that they are aware of what that they have to clean.
Yeah.
And you hand sanitize so everyone's safe.
And hopefully there won't be a toilet paper shortage this time round.
Can you believe that? What a bunch of non.
So we've got your setup here, and I just want to hone in on it and just ask, what's your favourite tool and why?
My favourite tool would have to be the little laser, Wilcom laser.
Yep.
It gives three lights. You've got a dot laser thrower up and down that goes underneath. You've got a horizontal and vertical laser, and it's self-leveling because it has a pendulum which works with gravity. And it's easy to set up if you're doing multiple showers, like in sports grounds, which I've used.
I was going to ask why you'd use a laser. So that's good.
It's brilliant. Even for the shower rails in the shower, you put it on the floor behind in the stall. It gives you a perfect 100% straight line, horizontal. You do your 2 marks that you have to drill your holes at, and you're done.
Geez, that sounds good. And what have we got here?
Here we have the Tigerfish Easy Grind Australian product, 100% Australian product, made in Thomastown in Victoria. They are a great internal cutter for pipe cutting when you can't get your hacksaw to it. The guys were very kind to send me this up last night. And
are you a spokesperson for Tigerfish
You would
these
think
days?
so, you would think so, but believe me, free tools deserve a good plug, especially being Victorian made, because they made the decision not to have it made in China, but actually have it made in Victoria, and it's made in Thomastown.
Nice. So I guess in a time like this with COVID, we are trying to unite the community. So it is kind of nice for you to do a little shout out to our neighbours at Thomastown.
Very much so.
Is there any other sort of tips you'd like to offer other tradies out there as to how they can unite, work as one together? Sorry, big cut to Flint Park.
Well, really stick together with the good work, because you can talk, you can network, you can get each other work if someone is a bit slow. Even if it's a day here and a day there, it all helps each other. And the tips you can use, because you can comment on each other's projects and things, just keep it up that way.
How nice. Building your network, guys.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
important to have someone around.
Hey, Rob, can you use that laser if you've had a few beers and you put it in a straight line and have to walk along it just to see how you're travelling?
You can, actually, you can.
Have you done it?
Brownie, I don't reckon you'd go too well after an episode cools down.
Definitely not.
On the old Bacardi Bruisers, I don't think so. Hey, great stuff, Rob. Good to get some local businesses in for a plug, and great to hear you enjoying the Good Work app.
Guys.
Hey, Sam, just a quick one for you. We've been doing some lookalikes, and Brownie's been searching the internet. I want to get your view on how real you think this lookalike is.
Yes, there you go.
We got one Sam on the left, and then obviously tennis champion Sammy Stosur on the right.
How's your forehand, Sam?
Are you much on the tennis court?
My backhand backhand was my strongest, but my serve would knock you out of the park, Brownie.
Beautiful. We'll have to play a game sometime.
Outstanding stuff. Always great to get out on the tools, Rob and Sam. Great to have you join us as we continue to bounce back from COVID-19. Hopefully I'll do a better job of hosting the next segment than I did this one, Brownie. I've only got one job, and up next, it's Jimmy with finance. Can't wait.
Throw, mate. Great throw.
Tools down, thanks to good work. I almost forgot who we were. We've changed our name.
Yeah.
We've levelled up to a new studio, and I always get nervous when our next guest comes on because he looks a treat. He's probably a favourite of my mum's more than I was as her firstborn. Finance with Jimmy. As we dial you in from your offices, the phones are going off the hook, mate. Tax time is always a busy time for accountants, and no different as we join you as part of our Season 2 here at Tools Down. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, man. Nice to see you both. Are you doing well?
Going sensationally, Jimmy. Second wave of lockdowns has hit. I can imagine that you're extremely busy, not just with end of financial stuff. But the question I want to get off the top is how are the government going to restructure, or are they going to continue on with the JobKeeper? Because it was planned to be cut off in September. Surely it must extend.
Yeah, the market looks like it will extend. We're going to learn more on the 24th of July in a couple of weeks when our Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg, will announce the new plan for the second half of the year. My take on it is that they will continue, but it'll be probably more industry specific. First round was more about broad application by any business in Australia, but I'm thinking now that they may just target in hospitality, construction, things like that. They may just zero in on where they need the fix.
Yeah, so let's get a little bit deeper on that, Jimmy. What is that going to mean for the tradie audience who are listening to us now? Can you give them some tips on maybe how they can protect things, even though they're an essential service? There must be a few things they can do to keep the books ticking over and keep not just the tax man, but also their own businesses happy.
Well, I think through this time, what's the most important thing is consistency in the work that they're performing. Core businesses has to be looked after. Through this time, there is a limited amount of cash on new venture. So dealing with what you have on your books at the moment needs to be looked after properly. And moving forward and doing good work should be your key on what you're doing. Keeping control of your cost is also very important. And understanding cash flow, understanding what money needs to come in over the next couple of months and what needs to go out, and maybe limiting that as much as you can.
And we know that professional service advice, people like yourself, is really important, but there's also those apps that we keep talking about that can really help keep that cash flow moving and keep you up to date in terms of the invoicing and all that sort of thing. You got some advice in relation to some of the technology available to business owners and tradies?
Yeah, there's plenty of software support. Accounting systems such as MyOp and Xero and QuickBooks all have very strong cash flow management tools for you. They can keep control of your invoices to your customers, and they can control where your expenses are going. Time and investment into these programs is a great incentive for tradies to keep control of their finances, and I highly recommend it.
And we'll have a whole lot more detail in the comments section of this Facebook broadcast. Keeping in mind, if you do make a comment, you can go into the running to win some of the great prizes that are on offer for some of our key sponsors at Elwood and also Tom and Luke's to keep Smoko a little bit healthier than normal. Hey, Jimmy, we've been looking at the graph of COVID and it all looks very similar to number one, so we thought we'd go with a bit of a lookalikes theme for today's show. Brownie's found a bit of a lookalike for you. Let us know what you think about this one. Do you know?
Was it Tintin?
Do you know? Yeah, Tintin. And the reasons that we picked it, loves to tell a story. He's got a mate called Professor Calculus, so we knew that'd be right up with where you're at. And have you got any pets?
Yep, golden retriever.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just needed the red rinse and he'd be a spitting image there of Tintin.
I know I prefer the grey. If we're all going grey, you might as well go with it. And Jimmy, we've given you a bit of a reprieve as well. So in Season 1, when we were called something a little bit different, you obviously got smashed in challenge time. You were down 4-1, but it's a clean slate.
Yep.
So we're starting all over again as if it's a brand new season.
Start.
We got challenge time.
Any chance of a handicap?
For you or Brownie? We got challenge time.
For Brownie, I mean. For Brownie.
We got challenge time. It's a good one coming up next. And so here it is, all thanks to Tools Down and our great mates at Good Work, really looking to level up as we bounce back from COVID-19. Good Work's an app with more than 30,000 members and helping you guys to really build a network, have a chat with each other, share some of your best work, jump onto Good Work via the Facebook page. The challenge time, you've loved this because
I've thrived, haven't I?
You were outstanding last season, and we're looking to change things up again. And I thought I'd sort of try my best, Larry M'd you. We're going to go with a little bit of Price is Right this time. So I'm not sure how much shopping you guys get up to at home, but we've searched the web and we've found a few interesting items, which we're going to show you on the screen, and then it's a nearest the pin. So we basically want you to try and have a look at the product and then guess, and whoever gets nearest the pin is going to take home the chocolate.
A single bed sheet of Bob the Builder.
That's it. So it's a Bob the Builder single bed doona cover
obviously
set.
for a kid.
Oh, well, I wouldn't mind sleeping under that. Often I'm on a single bed myself. Brownie, we'll go to you first. How much do you reckon the nearest dollar?
I wouldn't pay a cent over $45.
$45, not bad. Jimmy?
Oh, well, I'm a lot lower than that. I reckon $17.95.
Well, you are way off, Jimmy. Clearly you don't do any shopping at your place whatsoever. $59.95. That's one to Brownie.
Geez, it's more expensive than I thought.
That's an expensive bed sheet for a kid's bed.
And you want to spend a little bit of money on your kids, Jimmy. Rightio. So here's item number 2. And this is one of the great suppliers to our good mates at Reece. This is a Big Dog long nose plier. It's 200 mil, not your 100 mil. And it's a little bit pricier than possibly I would have thought, even though I've never spent a day on the tools in my life.
No, I'm going to Jimmy can go
to
first
Jimmy
this
first.
time.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Jimmy?
Well, I'm gonna maybe really embarrass myself like I haven't already in these challenges, but I'm going to say $28.
Okay.
I'll say $17.95.
Okay, Jimmy gets that one. $43.04. Don't forget we've got a double decimal point in line with GST here, Jimmy. So you've got to make sure you're really locking in on the price. One apiece. All right, here we go again. This is one for our plumbers who are out in the trade. This is 3 metres of PVC pipe in 50 mil diameter.
Yeah, that's the expensive pipe, I know that.
Okay, well, you go first this time, Brown Dog.
So you want it per metre?
No, the 3 metre price. So you're buying 3 metres. You've got 2 decimal points.
$12.69.
Okay, $12.69. Your go, Jimmy, nearest the pin.
I reckon $16.95.
Oh, $16.37.
Jimmy.
It's getting word from the control room. Nearest the pin means Jimmy goes 2-1.
A lot of fans calling here with this price mark.
Feel free to play at home if you like. You're more than welcome to have a crack as we take a look at, and I know Boston would be all over one of these. He'd be loving this out at Hurstbridge, just filling it up with the dirt, dropping it off.
He's got one. I didn't buy it though.
Bumping it around. Now, this is a steel classic, so this isn't any of that plastic rubbish. This is your steel Tonka dump truck, one of my favourites. We'll go to you first, Jimmy.
I'm going to say $39.90.
I'll say $33.
$79.
Oh, gee whiz. So Jimmy won.
It's not remote control. That'd be it. Jimmy's unassailable. It's 3-1. We don't even need to go to the next one, but we will, Jimmy.
You can tell I don't do a lot of shopping.
We're going to go to this next one because I'm really interested.
Oh! Priceless. Now, that would be unsigned, obviously, so a lot cheaper than the signed version.
No, it's signed.
Where? Oh, I can't see.
On the back, maybe.
Is it in the original packaging?
Have a look at the rig on it.
Oh, you wouldn't be paying a cent over $9.50 for that.
What do you reckon, Jimmy? It's signed by Premiership star and
I reckon $55,425.
$9.99. You can pick yourself one up today. It wouldn't be the first little bit of memorabilia you've tried to sell. I know you had a crack at a book at one stage.
I was commissioned by Slattery Media to write a book in my first year on the Gold Coast. It was called The Rise of the Sun, Jimmy. We made 10,000 copies.
10,000?
Yes, 10,000. And the following year, the Suns had a game and we were staying at Ridges down here in St Kilda. And it was a Saturday afternoon. We went for a walk pre-game and the St Kilda stalls were up. And we walked past the shop and they had it for sale for $1. $1, mate. You don't reckon I was flat? Such was the literature of that book that a lot of people thought I was related to Dan Brown, the writer of the Da Vinci Code. So I had to say no, I wasn't.
How many copies have you got left?
9,000. 500, mate. Yeah, most of it went to my extended family. So.
Okay, well, I'm happy to have a signed copy. A little bit of lockdown reading. Hey, Jimmy, great work by you again. Really appreciate your time. Again, how can people find you if they want to look you up for a bit of professional services support?
Just find me at clientpartners.com.au.
And I get the vibe that do you have a sponsor for your clothing? Do we need to call them out? Because every week you just seem to be stepping it up, whether it's a pocket square, the suit tie, the...
Yeah.
Mate, I don't have a sponsor. This is fashionista, maybe. That's all it is.
Gray's very 2010, I reckon.
He is. Hey, Jimmy, love your work. My mum says
Hey,
hi.
Brownie, 1-0, buddy. That's all I want to say to you.
The confidence is sky high.
He'll be living off that for the rest of the week. We're almost at wrap-up stage, so join us after this.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Say goodbye. It's all down thanks to good work, Brownie. We've done it.
Got through another week, mate.
A little bit of duress in the new environment. They're obviously putting a whole lot of pressure on us to come through with the goods. And
I don't feel pressure, mate. Never have. That's why I always just brought my best stuff to the big stage.
Can't wait to get one of those 9,500 copies of the book you've got. Bring me a box if you want. I'll see if I can flog them on Facebook.
Maybe we can use them as giveaways.
In for next week. If you want to win a copy of Brownie's book, just leave us a message in Facebook, and even better still...
Imagine if no one left a message.
I don't think... Let's get to the real reason we're here. The Elwood socks, as well as the snacks from our good friends at Tom and Luke, a way to keep your smoko healthy. They've got a range of products. Take a look at them online. But if you'd like to win yourself some, please leave us a comment, even tag in a mate if you think they could benefit from building a network thanks to good work as we bounce back from COVID-19. We're giving away more prizes ahead of a $500 hamper that we're going to give away next week. It'll feature even more Elwood products and a whole stack of Tom and Luke's goodies. We'll even throw in a book or two and you can sign it, I reckon.
Beautiful. Sounds good. Thanks very much for watching, and have a safe weekend. Stay out of trouble, and we'll see you back here next week, Huey.
Love it. See you then. Am I really going to get a copy of that book, or are you just saying that?
Nah, I'll get you a copy.
Can you sign it?
Yeah, of course.
All right. And can I have that meter-made pic just put in at the insert last week?